Hi, I'm David Gervino with the DuPage County Office of Homeland Security and Emergency Management. I'm here today with Officer Omar Brucal, who is with the Illinois D.A.R.E Officers Association. He's the Vice President of the association, and we appreciate you being here with us today.
Sure.
Tell us a little bit about what a D.A.R.E officer is and how that differs from a patrol officer that most people would be familiar with.
Yeah, most people, on TV, movies, they see patrol officers. I'm fortunate enough to not only be a patrol officer, but I'm also assigned during the school year to go into different schools. We have 8 total in our town, and I teach a D.A.R.E program, positive decision making, say no to drugs, things like that. So throughout the school year, fairly busy going in each school, almost every grade, and instructing that safety curriculum.
And what can you tell us a little bit about, earlier today you were here with, hosted by DuPage County Government as well as the Regional Office of Education, and the Illinois D.A.R.E Officers Association was conducting some training. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, unfortunately we live in a society where school shootings is not something that isn't heard of anymore. And so the Illinois D.A.R.E Officer Association, the IDOA, decided to host and to run and conduct a training that has to do with single officer response to an active shooter incident. Many times, like I said before, we have a lot of schools where I work at, and we're the only officers there. Even though there are school resource officers available, sometimes they have a caseload and they're outside of the school. So we would be the ones responding to that incident, and we felt it'd be important to have that type of training to keep us better prepared and also ultimately keep the kids safe.
Now, I wonder, Officer, if you could talk a little bit about, I know about 15 years ago, around the time of the Columbine shooting, most police departments around the country changed their tactics so that rather than waiting for a whole lot of equipment and SWAT teams to arrive, when officers first show up, they're going to go right in. Talk a little bit about the difference that makes in terms of lives that can be saved.
Yeah, unfortunately when Columbine happened, the specifics of it was that the officers waited for SWAT to come. By the time SWAT came, by the time the officers swarmed the area, so to speak, many lives were lost at that time, and so we switched the way that we thought as local police officers, as patrol officers. So even though SWAT, they do a phenomenal job, and there are definitely types of calls that we would call them out for. When there's an active shooter, especially in a school, daycare center, we want to terminate the threat as quickly as possible. And so this is the training that gives us that opportunity.
Great. And one other thing, and not in every case, but in nearly every case, it seems like, including the Columbine shooting and other events throughout the country since then, it seems like after the events, students have stepped forward and said, you know what, I knew something was going on, or that guy or those people, they were talking about doing something, but I didn't want to be perceived as a tattletale and that kind of thing. Officer, what would you say to students who today or next week or next month might hear of something that concerns them? What would you say to maybe encourage them to speak up?
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, because through the D.A.R.E program and through other safety curriculums that us D.A.R.E officers teach, we have a section on tattletale versus useful information. And what we tell our youth is that if somebody's going to get hurt as a result of information that they know, they need to inform a trusted adult. And it doesn't have to be a police officer. It could be a teacher. It could be a lunch lady. It could be principal, whoever it is as a trusted adult, to let us know. So in that respect, we also talk about bullying. The D.A.R.E program has a phenomenal portion of their program on bullying. And we tell them, what to look out for as bullying and what to do, how to properly report any type of bullying to a trusted adult.
Great. Well, thank you very much for being here. If you would like more information about emergency preparedness for students, parents, and teachers, you can visit us online at protectdupage.org. That website again is protectdupage.org. We've got some great links on there with links to our Regional Office of Education, as well as the Illinois State Board of Education, which has some great resources available for you. So that's, again, protectdupage.org. Again, this is David Gervino with DuPage County Office of Homeland Security and Emergency Management. I've been speaking today with Officer Brucal, who is with the Illinois D.A.R.E Officers Association.